So the other day, we talked about how John Barnett is the Boeing whistleblower. He was basically telling his story and giving all the specifics about how Boeing cuts corners, uses the wrong parts, speeds up the process to care more about profit than they care about safety. So this guy was spilling all the tea, exposing all of the dirty laundry of Boeing. Now, he already had spoken a number of times. He was given a deposition. He spoke a couple days, but he wasn't finished. He had more to say in the deposition. Now, and so as you all know, because we discussed it, he was found dead on the morning he was going to keep giving his deposition. Listen to this. Boeing whistleblower John Barnett, here's our update, was planning to drive home to Louisiana after his deposition on Friday, on March 8th, before Boeing lawyers asked him to stay one more day to finish his testimony. Boeing lawyers asked him to stay one more day to finish his testimony, and he was found dead on that morning. So this was one of the updates that when everybody sees it, they go, All we had was speculation previously that, like, it's kind of questionable. I don't think this guy killed himself, right? All we have is speculation. All we have is a hunch. All we have is a circumstantial evidence type situation, right? No hard evidence. But then we get this story, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're kind of getting into Epstein territory here, where it's like, there's a lot of indicators that that guy didn't kill himself, right? But then I got one more for you. So this is a local news ABC affiliate. And listen to what they say.
Tonight, our investigative reporter Ann Emerson has new information in the death of Boeing whistleblower John Barnett. A close family friend of Barnett says he predicted he might wind up dead, that a story could surface that he killed himself. But he told her, don't believe it. Ann?
Tessa, Barnett's family friend Jennifer said they had talked about this exact scenario playing out, but his words seemed like a premonition. He told her, don't ever believe it.
I knew John because his mom and my mom are best friends. And so over the years, get-togethers, birthdays, celebrations, and, whatnot, we've all got together and talked. And, that's how we really know each other.
And when Jennifer needed help one day, Barnett came by to see her. They talked about his upcoming depositions in Charleston. Jennifer knew he filed an extremely damaging complaint against Boeing. He says the aerospace giant retaliated against him when he blew the whistle on unsafe practices. For more than 30 years, Barnett was a quality manager. He'd recently retired and moved back to look after his mom in Louisiana.
He wasn't concerned about safety because I asked him, I said, aren't you scared? And he said, and his voice and the way he would talk, no, I ain't scared. He said, but if anything happens to me, it's not suicide. I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way. He loved life too much. He loved his family too much. He loved his brothers too much to put them through what they're going through right now.
And he basically told you not to believe it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Not true. He's got too much to do, likes breathing. And he did. He had a lot of plans of things that he wanted to do.
What do you think happened?
I think somebody got in there and made, money can buy anything nowadays, it seems like. And there's a lot of evil in this world. I think somebody didn't like what he had to say and wanted to shut him up and didn't want it to come back on anyone. So that's why they made it look like a suicide.
The last time she saw Barnett, it was at her father's funeral in late February. He was one of the pallbearers. Sometimes family and friends referred to him by his middle name, Mitch.
I think everybody is in disbelief and can't believe it. And I told everybody that I don't care what they say. I know that Mitch didn't do that.
And just because Mitch Barnett is dead doesn't mean this case won't move forward. His attorneys say they're still prepared to go to trial in June.
What am I supposed to say in response to this? How am I supposed to talk about this, right? And then you worry that if you draw obvious conclusions that you're going to, violate YouTube's terms of service, get in trouble, right? This is a local news report. This isn't Kyle talking. This wasn't me doing all different sorts of speculation. This is that dude's friend who was saying he wouldn't kill himself. He's not the type to do that. He literally said, if I'm dead, it wasn't suicide. Guys, he blew the whistle on a lot of incredible things. I think there's a documentary out about this guy already. I saw one of the guys from the Vanguard podcast tweeting about it, that this guy's like a total aviation nerd, and he just wanted to make sure that the planes were safe for people. There were planes where they would literally go and take spare parts out of the garbage and use it for the Boeing planes. And now we've seen 1,000 different stories of like the Boeing door gets ripped off in the middle of a flight. There's a giant hole in the plane, right? Landing gear failed. A wheel fell off. We had that problem a while ago where they tinkered with what the design was supposed to be. The sensor was in the wrong place, and a number of Boeing planes just plummeted out of the air and crashed. We're talking about a company that looks like they sincerely don't give a fuck about safety. And then now the chickens are coming home to roost. And this guy was trying to say, hey man, I'm in there at the ground level. I see what's going on. Taking spare parts out of fucking garbage cans, using like dish soap when for certain things to lubricate when you shouldn't. Like, what are we talking about here? By the way, I need to point this out. Administration after administration in this country has sort of leaned into deregulating the airline industry more and more. And by the way, we just bailed out, wasn't it over $50 billion we bailed out the airline industry during COVID? And now, a couple years later, the planes are fucking falling out of the air? Isn't that what happened? I got a dog dreaming next to me and making noises. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I don't know if this mic picks it up. Anyway, airline deregulation. How'd that work out? This is like the prime example of sometimes you need safety regulations to make sure that corners aren't cut for profit and people are safe. So the hardcore libertarian philosophy of like always less government, it has never been proven so hard to be incorrect. But here we are. Here we are. So rest in peace to this guy. Lord only knows if the police are going to crack the case. Lord only knows. Who knows? It's possible that there were some payoffs made to them, right? So that they keep their fucking mouth shut. This is a corrupt-ass world we live in. As that woman said, with a lot of evil. Who knows if we'll ever get conclusive answers, but just like with Jeffrey Epstein, there's enough dots there to connect where everybody kind of knows, right? Like JFK. Over 50% of Americans still think the official story doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's only so much you can get by, people. And this one is really over the line. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.